Hello, Judelicious. This is the Masked Analyst. Normally I enjoy watching your videos. I've been a fan of yours for a while, and I really enjoyed the way you took it to Brett Keane for plagiarism, okay? In general, I have a very positive opinion of you. But I have to say I was really disappointed today by a couple of your videos, and I'll be posting links in the sidebar to those videos that I'm talking about. I'm referring, of course, to your dispute with Parymich. Now, I have to admit that I've never seen, before today, I've never seen any of Parymich's videos, and I looked at a couple of them just to put your what you were saying in context. So I looked at a couple of her videos today. And I'm not disappointed with you with your calling her out on her homophobia. That's not a problem. I thought it was brilliant the way you used her clip where she said, "I'm clueless," over and over and over again. I thought that was hilarious and funny. But you went well beyond that and you revealed personal information about her. It seems like you and Parymich have very different perceptions on the chain of events leading up to your release of her personal information. According to you, Judelicious, you released this very detailed personal information as a response to her threat against you, that she threatened to call the cops on you and that she threatened to sue you. I've sent her a couple of emails and I've tried to get her side of the story. I'm not sure I have it done exactly right, but from what I gather, she said that someone else, maybe in the comment sections, I'm not sure, but someone else had threatened her and her daughter, and that she had directed or intended to direct a threat of calling the cops on another person, and you may have misinterpreted this as being directed to you. It's possible there could have been some confusion there. I really don't know. Also, I'm trying to interpret from your video and what you said, and I may not have this exactly right, but evidently you may have posted her name in the comments section somewhere, or you revealed her real identity first, and then she responded by saying if she or her daughter were harmed because of this, and because of your directing your subscribers to harass her, then she would hold you responsible. Something along those lines. Now, I looked at the first of the two videos that I'm putting a link to in the sidebar, and I couldn't see you, the way I interpreted it, you didn't call on your viewers to harass her per se. You did call on them to make videos to educate her or to mock her perhaps, but harassment, I think that's a little bit strong term. However, I could certainly understand her seeing it from that point of view. Now, exactly where the truth lies, who is to blame, I don't know, and for the rest of this analysis, it really doesn't matter. I'm going to assume, for the sake of argument, that what happened occurred as you stated, Judelicious. I'm going to assume, for the sake of argument, and it might not be true, but I'm going to assume it, that she did indeed threaten to call the cops on you, and that she did indeed threaten to sue you. The question I want to examine today is whether you were right to post the type of detailed information in the second video that you made about her. Very personal information. Now, it's against YouTube policies to release personal information on others. And I support this. I support this. There will be some very rare exceptions. If, for example, someone makes death threats or threatens to harm someone else physically or rape them, that would be an exception. You shouldn't be able to threaten physical harm against someone else while maintaining your cloak of anonymity. But I didn't see her telling anyone that she was going to kill a gay. I didn't see her urging anyone to go out and kill or hurt or maim or bomb a gay bar or anything like that. So she should have the right to state her opinions while remaining anonymous. But if I'm reading this correctly, you at first broke her anonymity on YouTube, and it was because of this that she made a threat. Now, she was extremely stupid to put all sorts of information about herself on the internet where it could be so easily tracked down. That was extreme stupidity on her part, and I imagine she won't make that mistake again. But it's clear that, to me anyway, that you are trying to bully her off of YouTube. Let me go over a couple of statements that you said. In the first of the two videos, I believe it was, you called her for her homophobic remarks, and then you said, if you're going to make those kinds of statements, then you need to understand that there are consequences to be made, and that what you find appropriate is not what is found appropriate globally. You're treading on very dangerous ground, Judelicious. You have to remember that we shouldn't lose our anonymity just because we say something that's unpopular. And who should be able to have and have not, and should not have anonymity, should not be dependent upon how popular a belief is. And if you were to take this position, then we run into big risks. Because whether you like it or not, chances are Parymich's position on homosexuality, if you were to look on a global perspective, is probably in the global majority. Even within the United States, the issue of homosexual marriage, of gay marriage, is highly controversial. And if you look at the polls, less than half the people support it. It is a minority point of view, and that's within the United States. If you look at the entire world, especially in the Muslim world, they take a much dimmer view on gay rights. This wouldn't even be open to question. So if you were to say that only those who hold popular points of view should be able to speak them anonymously, then you run into problems because hey, atheism is not exactly the most popular point of view. Secondly, imagine what would happen if YouTube had been invented 40 years ago. Well, back then, back in the 60s, and you might be a little too young to remember this, and you weren't in the United States in any case, but you may be too young to remember it, but it was quite unpopular to hold pro-gay rights views. It was extremely unpopular. And the prevalent point of view back then, if YouTube had been around, and someone like you came on YouTube espousing human rights, most people would end up saying, "Hey, who is this? Who is this lesbo lover? I mean, what's going on here? Why should she be able to maintain her right to speak that garbage anonymously? We need to expose her perversion." So that would have been the attitude 40 years ago, if YouTube had been around, and if they had been following, I guess, the Judelicious standard. So you have to be real careful when you take the approach that the other person needs to be exposed because you don't like their points of view. And another exchange here illustrates that that you're trying to drive Parymich off of YouTube. Parymich said, "I'm not backing down," and then you responded in a clip, in I think it was your second video. "Well, we'll just see about that backing down thing, Parymich. It would be a shame if you weren't on YouTube anymore, but I don't think homophobia haters really should get any airtime. I really don't think they should get any airtime." Well, that sums it up in a nutshell. What you're trying to say is that despite your claims that you're in favor of free speech, it looks to me like this is a campaign to drive her off of YouTube. I can understand you being pissed at her for threatening to call the cops, but it looks to me like even before she was calling the cops, that you had been threatening to drive her off of YouTube. And I could be mistaken on the order of those things, so please forgive me if I am. Now, what's particularly disturbing is that you start out near the beginning of your second video noting that a sock account has made threats against Parymich and her daughter. And in light of that, it is very disturbing that you would put together all her personal information and release it so that it's so easy for someone who hates her, for perhaps a gay rights group or person or some whack job, to actually go after her, and especially in light of the fact that she has evidently received a threat. So I find out that you really came up short today, Judelicious. People should have the right to speak anonymously, and you violated that right. And it looks to me like you're doing this in a campaign to drive her off YouTube. Judelicious, let me ask you a question. In light of the fact that some sock puppet account has threatened Parymich and her daughter, what's the difference between your releasing her name because, as you said, if she's going to take this type of view, she's got to realize that there are consequences. What's the difference between this situation and, say, a Muslim who is incensed at the desecration of the Quran, saying, you guys can do that, but you got to beware. There are consequences to this. Yeah, we believe in free speech, but it's got to have consequences. And then, if they find out your name, releasing your name for the possible consequences. Chances are this sock puppet isn't going to actually go and hurt Parymich, but you never know. And there are a lot of people who feel passionate about these issues, and some of them may be not altogether there. Just as within the Muslim community, passions will run high when you burn their Quran or throw it in the toilet. And if someone were to do that, and if someone said, well, you look, Mr. So-and-so, and then release the full name, you got to realize, you do this, there are consequences. What's the difference between these situations? Maybe I'm missing something here. You started out your first video that I'm referring to on good form. The response to her would be to mock her, to laugh at her, to poke fun at her beliefs, to show that she's ridiculous. That's perfectly within reason, and that's the right thing to do. But we really need to do our best to make sure that YouTube is available for people of all points of view to be able to express their view without fear of losing their anonymity. And unfortunately, you missed the mark today. It was stupid of Parymich to have all this information out on the internet. But whether you like it or not, by putting all this information together and releasing it on YouTube, you have violated the terms of service in a major way, and I fear that you probably will get your account suspended because of this. I really hate to see this happen, again, because I've liked what you've done. I really hate to see this happen, but it would not surprise me at all if it does. I wish there were a way to put the genie back in the bottle. This has been the Masked Analyst, under and in. Hello everyone, Masked Analyst again. I just noticed that Judelicious has posted a quick apology video, and I appreciate that. I still think that we should use this opportunity to discuss the role of anonymous free speech on YouTube, the importance of respecting people's anonymities, with the exception of somebody may say a death threat or something like that against others. They give up their right to anonymity. But I still think it's an important issue to discuss. Hence, I'm uploading this video anyway. But I do appreciate that Judelicious seems to have recognized that she did something wrong. This is the Masked Analyst, under and in again.